very few people.
Yeah, so you are audible.
That's not a
Yes,
problem.
yes.
Okay. The title of my paper is Posthumanities. I hope I'm audible. Posthumanities and its encounter with non-human in both the textual space of Song of Ice and Fire as well as in its television adaptation by David Wyss and Benioff, The Game of Thrones. So, when I'm talking about the posthumanities and its encounter with non-human, we see certain things, and one of them is fear. Fear is a very archetypal apparatus, and to use Jungian psychology, it is in our collective unconsciousness. Fear is a non-agential and agential transport, and what we see that the essence of fear is what has governed our ideas about God and ghosts, as both of them are non-human agencies. And when we talk about these creatures of night, right, we talk about ghosts as creatures of night, and that has come down from the times of Beowulf. And we have Grendel. Right? We have all read our history of English literature. And in first Old English epic, Beowulf kills the first monster, Grendel. Grendel is the fiend upon heaven, the geist, or the modern language for ghost. And that fearful element has coveted us to follow a certain order in life. That if you do not do this, the ghost will come and take you. If you do not perform this job, God will punish you. So both the agencies transcends human center. Their epistemic center is not human, God and ghost. Now, when Martin started writing, he has actually written up to 5th book. The 6th is coming, right? And there we have seen the White Walkers as an embodiment of fear. So what are White Walkers? White Walkers are like Grendel, fear upon heaven. Somebody who stays in only appears in night. And that is why the period where they were born are called the long night. Now, why night? Why all the ghost stories happen in night? Very interesting. Like it could have happened in the daylight, right? But the mystery is what the fear creates, and the fear is the mystery, and the mystery is the fear. If you could see the ghost actually, then you wouldn't be afraid. Or if you could see God, you may not be so afraid to be punished, right? So, these non-human agencies are the things that we are most scared of. And when we see the White Walkers, Martin does not tell them who they are or what is their origin. Their origin story is actually only seen through HBO adaptation by David Benioff and Wyss, the two great directors. And it is said that the Children of the Forest has created these White Walkers as a machination, as we create robots to arm ourselves. They are the machinations, the powerful element of fear that will keep the human in check, human in line. So that the pact that the Children of the Forest made with that of the man, that the man would enjoy the entire of Westeros, and they were the children of the night who would inhabit the places far beyond north. Now, why would human listen to somebody who human would conquer? Human beings in Martin's universe are pretty powerful, just like in our universe, and they have weapons which could destroy the Children of the Forest much more easily than that of Children of the Forest trying to destroy their man. because children of the forest only had obsidian and few arrows, which would not harm that much. They would kill some, but not all. Now, they needed this monster. They needed these monsters. So, it is believed that one of the guard of the Night's Watch was converted with the magic, with a ritualistic performance into white walkers. Something which is beyond human, a non-human agency. Something which has a flat ontology. But it's not an AI, of course, because it's not digital, it's natural. And these white walkers would one day come to Westeros. There would be a long night sometime. So this story of long night is being passed as a lullaby. Very interestingly, again, something that is being sung in the night, lullaby. And lullabies are supposed to put people to sleep, right? Not to scare them. But what we see is this in the very first book of Game of Thrones. We see little Brandon was refusing to be asleep. He was very adamant that I don't want to sleep. So so his nanny tells him the story of the lullaby that if he doesn't sleep, the long winter will come and the White Walkers will come. And for a child, it's pretty traumatic to hear somebody will come and dismember you. So it's like the four horsemen of the Bible archetypes. They will come and perform death, disease, and famine and war. So they represent them, and they are walking on the ice forever. They are coming to meet human beings. It's like almost an end of a human era. It's a post-Anthropocene and post-Capitalocene. So people are going to die because of these people, these White Walkers, who are not people but people. So something in between. And these White Walkers are not non-human. I would say they are post-human because being a human is rational. And also they have very much of basic instincts like sex, hunger and aggression. Now, we do not see ever in this movie, that's in the series or in the book, that White Walkers are eating. They are not eating. So something that do not eat is something that is beyond human. Even God needs food that we give kosher. Maybe they don't eat, but then still we give it either ways. If they would have eaten, maybe we wouldn't have given so casually or generously. Anyway, so these White Walkers don't eat, and they do not reproduce sexually. So how they do it? They will just touch people, and not only people, not only human agencies. They would touch the horses, they would touch dragons, for instance, and that would turn automatically into whites. The whites are the non-human because they do not have the eye. But these White Walkers are very confident and they are controlling the agential fear. And for generations, if we go by the Aegon's dreams, Aegon used to have dragon dreams, and Aegon had this dream that one day the White Walkers would come and annex the land and put them into a perpetual winter. There would be no summer, no spring, end of all times. And that message has been transmitted and passed for generations, and they would call it a prophecy that one day they would come. So this neurosis of fear hangs over Westeros, but people haven't seen them for tens of thousands of years, so they think that it's a myth, it's a legend. But then they come. Now it's still not clear why they suddenly start walking or they want to conquer. But what we see through their gaze, the gaze of other, right? The gaze of other, what we see is very consequential. And if we see something that is there, that in 2011, 17th April, David Benioff and WBS TV series Game of Thrones premiered on HBO, and we are immediately made aware of the cold and all fearful presence of the white walkers. There we have cameras, sensors, and heuristically programmed algorithmic transhumanist creation of supernatural, which I told, introduced as an alternate fabric of reality. So, in reality, obviously, these ghosts and gods and fearful incidents may not exist, but they exist in tales. The narration that we pass from one generation to another, to scare people to obedience, to scare children to obedience, to scare people to obedience. So this fear is very important, you know. And obviously, there we have a space outside human control. From transhumanist to posthumanist occurs the methodology as the role of an agential, non-humanist intelligence started moving towards the anthropocentric center of rest of us. For most, if you see those who do not understand much about computer like me, for most it is a graphical user interface and chimeric dance of pixels altering their colors and collected forms, while for the code literate, the structure of the operation behind the facade crystallizes into algorithmic ingenuity, birthing new things into existence. Stemming from that amalgamation of the embodied and the disembodied, spawns the gaze of the other, the white. Like the machine gaze, the gaze of the white walkers are rooted in the question of what is perceived by those who have absence presence as opposite, not opposite, to Heideggerian Dasein. For instance, Dasein, Heidegger said, is something which is essentially something which is presence. So these white walkers are absence presence. And white walkers reminds me, as I have already told, so much of Grendel. Why Grendel? Because I just want to quote 2 lines of Grendel. It is in Old English. Bear with me, I will give the translation. Grendel is being described as Frian, Freman, Fiond on hell, was sei Grimageist, Grendel aten, mer mien escapasto pe morsia iol. Now, if you translate that in English, present English, it translates as until one began to execute atrocities. That is, if you are showing that you are capable of killing and murdering people, then you become a fiend in hell. And then people started being scared of you. And then we have the ghostly demon, the Grimageist. So he's the Grimageist. So something which is scary. So what does this White Walkers do? Is in the first season of the series itself, we see that this night watch, the one who are in the night watch, are guarding, and they go and they are being captured, and ritualistically each body part is taken apart one by one, that is fingers from the hand, from the wrist, from the shoulder, and they are decorated in a very ritualistic pattern, the pattern which was used to create them. So they become, through the ritual, the fear is established. The ritualistic enhancement of fear puts in the very idea that fear is necessary to control. Now, if you see finally, the final part of my paper, all of these creatures suffer from what Freud calls anxiety belonging to the castration complex, like inability to produce. We can see that it is a castration of complex which incites them to seize the power of Westeros. Because they do not have phallus, the power becomes the symbolic phallus and cultural phallus, and their politics is not biopolitics of Foucault. Because biopolitics means socially productive. They are doing what is necropolitics, what Mbembe calls necropolitics. The dead body. That politics enhanced to the dead body. Now when the dead body is another non-agential yet performative agent. Just like zombies, right? Just like zombies, these dead bodies that they are going to create they are going to reanimate them into whites. Their language of zombie is whites. And they are going to create these zombies as like goons, because they won't go everywhere. He needed to populate and he cannot reproduce. So he needed this powerful non-human agents, which Bruno Latour, in his theory of ANT, actor network theory, talks about as something which is beyond human ontology. So up to Latour, 1926, we thought that human ontology as the prima suprema. But after Latour, Armand, both have given the concept of immaterials, where we see that non-human agents, just like dead body, is equally powerful. Though they have flat ontology, they cannot have human ontology, they have flat ontology. But the actor network theory is very important. And the power to expose a whole population to death. So, final conclusion of my paper is, when Derrida talks about historicist geneticism, he is referring to genetics as a historicist discipline. Genetics tells us only the story of the pathogen. It does not tell us how, in case of a plague, a single-celled organism came to be dispersed over half the globe in the medieval period. The historicist discipline decodes the origin and the spread. Psychological or psychogeneticism perform the disease in psychological praxis. With the White Walker, the disease is humanity per se. Now, human beings are perceiving White Walkers as a threat, as a disease to the society, and White Walkers are perceiving human beings as a garbage, polluted, naturally polluted, because human beings cut down the trees that they don't. Human beings are endangering environment that they don't. Human beings are killing other animals for pleasure and food that they don't. Again, this animal hunt, boar hunt that we go see that the kings are indulging even in the real life and in the life of screen, silver screen and the book, from the page to the stage. Everywhere, human beings like killing. And because they think that human beings think that they are the most powerful. Now to scare them, they have to be hunted. The hunting and the haunting, both will be focused on humanity itself. And so, like Latour, White Walkers find humanity as contamination of the natural order, and therefore he sends out his spores which create a frozen, capitalocene and anthropocene world. Thank you.